Hey folks, welcome to Jay's Outdoors and Stuff. Today we're going to show you how to cook an easy dinner. It's cheap, it's great for if you're in college, you can not spend a lot of money and it's a good dinner. But what it's called is Fideo. That's what I know it by. The noodles are called Fideo, but it's got little ingredients, easy to make. Let's go through some of it. First ingredients, noodles. They are cut Fideo noodles. Easy stuff. I think they're like $1 a bag. You have El Pato sauce. This is what you need. There's two kinds, a green can and a yellow can. Get what's in the yellow can. The green can is a little less spicy. I don't like it. The other ingredients I got are some diced onions, diced jalapenos. I pre-cut those so you didn't have to watch me do all that. And I'm going to add shrimp to mine, and we'll talk about adding meat and what kind of meats we're going to add to it, or we could add to it. But I use some cocktail shrimp. Yum, those will be good. Spices I'm going to use onion powder, garlic salt, and some chili powder. Hot, because I like spicy stuff. That's awesome. The other thing we're going to use that I should have had out, I guess, we're going to need oil, because we're going to brown our noodles. So let's get started with that. I'm going to turn the camera. We're going to get started. Awesome. We got a good camera angle here. You're not going to see me, but you're going to see how this dinner is cooked. Very simple. We got a big saucepan. You can see how deep it is, how big it is. Because we're going to add water to the noodles later. And let's turn that on, sorry. Stove on high. Because we want to brown these noodles in oil. I'm going to say maybe 1/8 of a cup in there. I've never measured it. I always just kind of eyeball it. But it seems to be maybe 1/8 a cup or less. We'll let that heat up. Once that heats up, we're going to add our noodles in here. And all we're going to do is brown these noodles up. And we'll see. Okay, all our other stuff is ready. Since I prepped all the other stuff, I should have turned the stove on a minute ago. So now I'm going to have to edit that out. Damn it. But we're good. That's alright. Alright. Our pan's getting hot, or it's getting warm, very warm. So we're going to open these. We're going to put our noodles in. That is it. We're going to brown our noodles so this pan will heat up more as we continue to stir. Now, first thing I like to do is stir that grease up. Right now, no noodle is browning or cooking, but let's get all them noodles greased. I stir it up. Now, when you make this, if you have like, because this will probably serve 2 or 3 real good. 2 for sure, it might go a 1/3 adult. But if you're in like a dorm or something, you probably want to cook a couple of bags of it. And in that case, just double everything. The way I look at it, 1 bag of noodles for 1 can of sauce. And then from there, you'll have to, double up on jalapeno, double up on onion, double up on the meat you put in, depending on how much you want in there. Now the jalapenos and onions, I diced. But if you're a big jalapeno fan, you could probably just slice them. If you're an onion fan, you like onions a lot, you could probably just slice those too and leave bigger chunks in. I just like to dice them for the flavor that's going to come with them. And then this one, for the 1 batch of a bag and a can, I use a half jalapeno and about 1/4 of an onion. Onions are a lot bigger, so I use like 1/4 of an onion, a half a jalapeno. My noodles, I can hear them sizzling a little. I don't know if you can hear them on there, but keep stirring them. This is a critical part now. Our pan's getting hot. If we let these noodles sit, they'll burn, and we don't want that. You do not want a noodle to burn, because it will make the whole dish taste funny. Just like with a lot of stuff we cook. You burn one part of it and the whole dish is going to taste funny. Now I'm stirring this like a madman. You might get a couple of noodles all over, but that's all right. We're going to make a little bit of a mess and we'll clean up. But I don't know if you can see, just over the little bit of time since the pan's warm up and we put the noodles in, we're already getting noodles that are brown. And I'm just poking it out. Noodles tend to like cling together, or it seems like they bunch up. So that's all I'm doing, is just kind of pushing them out. Keep stirring it up. We don't want any of these to, like I said, to burn or overcook. Now one thing I did forget to do, and I'm going to have to pull this off in just a second. You can see how hot that is. I didn't open our can of Alpato sauce, because we're going to put that in. This part is, like I said, critical because we don't want a noodle to burn. But we're also going to need to put in that Alpato sauce and get some water in there fast. Noodles are looking good. We're browned up there. We're going to leave it on high. You can see how much they brown just real quick. It doesn't take long to brown them, but keep stirring them. So I use my can. Sorry, my sink's over here and I can't adjust camera. 1 cup of water, 1 can of water, 2 cans of water, and a half can of water. I set my can down because we're going to use more water later. Now it's stirred up a little. It's going to come to a boil. Let's get these noodles. Like I said, they kind of clump up, but I don't think they're clumping up. I think it's just the nature of the noodle that they kind of, because they're not sticking together. They're just kind of like clumping up. It's really odd. It's weird to describe. Like I said, don't throw your can away because we're going to add more water later. This is one of those dishes that it's going to simmer down. We're going to add more water, simmer down, and add more water. I like getting all them rogue noodles off the side and get them in there. Heat still on high. And right now, the smell I get, and just if you cook this and wonder what smells you should be smelling, it's just right now, just I can smell a little bit of Alpato sauce, kind of like some cooked noodle. It's one of those dishes right now, it doesn't smell that good. We're coming to a boil, and this is where we'll make it smell a whole lot better. There. We have onion powder. Onion powder I put, if I were to measure it, I just sprinkle it in because I've made this dish so much. But I'm going to say a little over a teaspoon. Garlic salt. Remember, onion powder, not onion salt. Garlic salt, not garlic powder. So onion powder, garlic salt. Garlic salt sprinkles in real nice. You get a good visual, but I think I put in, same, about a little over a teaspoon and a half. You know, if I was to really measure that out, it, you know, when we sprinkle it looks like a lot, but if you were to put it in a measuring spoon, it's probably only a teaspoon and a half of each. I wouldn't think it's any more than a teaspoon and a half. We are boiling, we're cooking, and we're looking good. Since we've added that garlic, salt, and onion powder, yum, smells great. Now I'm going to reduce the heat a little bit. We don't need this at a full boil, and if we do anything to stop, the bottom's going to want to, it's going to want to stick. So let's reduce it. I was at high, and I'm going to take it just above medium, so that we still boil, and we can still boil off this water. But we lose that risk of super high heat and everything wanting to stick to the bottom. definitely a dish you want to pay attention to, because you want to keep stirring it. You don't want nothing to stick. For it being really easy to, it's easy for me to make because I've made it a lot, and once you've made it a few times, you'll see how easy it is, but you'll see the critical points of it, of where not to leave it. You know, like right now, not a good time to go turn on my TV or anything. Not a good time to leave the stove. We want to keep stirring this, let that temperature get down a little bit. Now, the noodles have already absorbed a bunch of the water. You can see we went from having a lot of water in there to now we're back to noodles. I'm going to put another can of water in. Hot water, cold water, doesn't matter. As if you use hot water, you've got it closer to the boiling point, but I just use water. So we'll put another can in there. You can see we're down to water, or the water's, you know, kind of came over the noodle level. But as you see, as we cook it, it'll bring it down. It'll simmer it down. I think of it like one of the old Saturday Night Live skits. Simmer down now. Simmer down now. And we're good. Okay, we got past the super critical part. Now we're cooking. We've turned it down. It's still coming to a boil. Like I said, our heat, my dial goes from low to high. In between the numbers, I got 2 to 8, so we would say 1 to 9 on the dial. But we started off at 9 at high, and now we're down to 6.5. That's where I turned it, 6.5. So I'm still boiling, but I don't have that high heat that's going to want to fry, you know, and cause everything to stick to the bottom. Now, you're probably wondering about the shrimp. The shrimp I use because I like to use fish in these dishes. I like to use white meats. That way the dish stays red. It doesn't turn brown, discolored, gets funny looking, so to say, or gross looking. Right now it looks red, looks chili, spicy, looks good. But that's why I like to use any type of fish or white meat. I haven't tried with pork yet. I think chicken would be great, but pork, you know, you would have to fry your pork and put it in, or you could bake your pork, but that's going to make this dish take a lot longer. You know, fish already makes it take a lot longer because I'll use like walleye fillets, and I'll just fry them in butter in a pan on top of the stove. I'll just fry those walleye fillets. I'll set them off to the side, just like I did my shrimp here, and then later on we're going to add that in. We don't add it now because it'll make the whole dish just taste fishy, or in the case I'm using shrimp, it'll just taste shrimpy. And you want to be able to taste the Fideo, you know, what you're cooking. You don't want to just taste, if you wanted to just taste fish, we would just eat fish. But it's looking good, it's smelling good. So far I'm pretty happy with it. We got, like I said, we got through the critical part. I didn't burn the noodles, so awesome. Right now we're just simmering down, boiling them noodles. You know, our object now is to really just boil the noodles and get them soft. Soften them up. So if you like it al dente, you know, if you like your noodles a little tougher like that, maybe don't add the last cup, a cup of water, or can of water. I shouldn't say cup because it's not 1 cup. I don't even know how many ounces this is. 7, well, it's almost a cup, 7 3/4 ounces. So, but I go by cans. I just use my can. That, and it gets the rest of the sauce out of there. And that sauce is good. It's yum. If anybody's ever made salsa with that sauce, leave me a comment or send me an email, because I'd be interested in it. Now, as far as I know, the other one in the green can is better to make salsa with, but I've never made salsa with this. And where I have to get this in King Supers. You would think it would be like, you know, they have the ethnic aisle with Spanish food, Chinese food. I actually get this in the tomato sauce aisle. They got it up there. But it's cheap. Like I said, like 69 cents a can, maybe even cheaper than that. This whole dish, minus the shrimp, probably cost about $2.50. A jalapeno is going to cost you $1. An onion, you know, you can find a small onion. That's probably only going to cost you less than $1. So we're at 1, 2, and then the little bit of vegetables we're going to put in is 3. Now the shrimp I bought costed $6. So the shrimp, you know, just triples the price of the whole dish. Instead of being at $3, now we're at $9 because I wanted to add shrimp. Now, if you catch your own fish, like we do, unless it's shrimp, damn it, I don't live next to the ocean. But catch your own fish, this is a great thing to do with it. Some of these for fish I kind of get sick of because they're all pretty common recipes. Either fry your fish, or, you know, you wrap it in foil and put a lot of spices and lemon and put it in the oven. And some of these fish recipes get a little boring with me. Don't get me wrong, I still love some big catfish getting deep fried. I still love deep fried walleye, and every once in a while I still do like to eat a trout right out of the oven. Now you can see we simmered down now, right there a little bit. I'm going to add the last can of water. I keep my can, I don't throw my can away yet, just in case my judgment's a little off on it, or maybe my cooking time frame is a little off. Save the can in case you have to add another half cup. But right now, we're looking good. It smells good. Once we add those jalapenos and onions, it's going to start smelling a lot better. It smells great right now, don't get me wrong. You come into my house right now, you'd think I'm cooking some magnificent dinner the way it smells. Nah, we're just cooking Fideo. It's easy stuff. Stir it. I'm going to throw this stuff away. I'm good with the onion powder and the garlic salt. I'm going to put those away. Can opener and dirty dishes. Don't just throw it back in the drawer. Come on, I'm a bachelor and I don't even do that. Got good shrimp there. Yum. And yum. Like I said, we don't add the shrimp yet. We add the shrimp extreme last because we don't want this dish to get over shrimped tasting. And same with fish. If you use, you know, if you fry up some walleye or you fry up another whitefish, don't put it in the beginning because it's going to make the whole dish just taste fishy. You won't get to taste any of that El Pato sauce. You might even kill the flavor of your onions and jalapenos. Right now we're looking good. We're boiling down. We've been cooking 20 minutes now, so, and that's in real time. After I edit this, we'll probably have cooked a little less. Like I said, we had a couple of minutes heat up time that I kind of blew and didn't prepare for. You can see that, that steam coming off. Noodles are absorbed the water real well. This is looking good. Yum. I'm starving too. So glad this will be done here in a minute. You can see that nice boil. Forgot about my chili sauce. Let's add a little bit of that. That is probably more like a half a teaspoon. And I do that just for a little extra spice. You know, I'm already using jalapenos. The El Pato sauce is only a little spicy. It's not very spicy at all. You know, I don't think it's spicy at all. But if you got a soft tongue, you might think the El Pato sauce is a little bit spicy. In no way is it hot though. So that's why I add a little chili powder. That and the chili powder helps keep it red a little bit. Keep it a little more red. We're simmering down good. I think now we're gonna add in these onions and jalapenos. Let's do this. Boom. Now you can add, like I was saying, if you're an onion freak, add more onions. If you're a jalapeno freak, add more jalapenos. You know, it ain't gonna hurt the dish. You know, I would think maybe, I shouldn't say that, I would think maybe if you added too much onion, you're gonna hurt the dish a little bit because you're only gonna taste onions. But you're still, I think you would still taste that El Pato sauce. It's not gonna be like the shrimp, you know, or fish that we would put in. Like I said, this is the part of Jay's Outdoors and stuff. This is the in stuff. And good reason why I saved my can, because I am going to add another half a can of water. We're boiling down that water pretty fast. And I do want to add a little more. That is gonna be the last can. I'm pretty confident in that though. Just from my experience in making this a bunch of times, that was probably the last little bit we're gonna put in. And you can see it looks watery, it's soupy, but it's gonna we're gonna boil off a lot of that water and it won't be as soupy. Dishes. We're getting less soupy. It's getting to be more like a noodle dish. We don't want it soupy. We don't want to scoop it, you know, with a ladle and pour it in. This is a dish that we should be able to put it on a plate when we're done and not a bowl. Although I usually fill up a big old bowl of it and just sit there and eat, but we're looking good. Now when you make this, you can add other spices. Make it one time like I'm showing you, and from there, modify it. Make it how you want. You know, do the jalapenos different, the onions different. If you feel you want to add some tomatoes in there, dice up some, throw them in there. If you want to add a little cilantro, I was thinking of adding cilantro. I've never done that. But if you want to add a little cilantro in there, you know, salt, pepper, you know, your own spices. Like I said, do it this time once, and then when the next time you go for it, you can modify it, make it good. And leave me comments on how you modified it and made it better. Because my way isn't the golden way, it's just what I think is a really good way right now. We're getting pretty close here. A lot of that water's coming off, so. Nice, we're looking good. Like I've been saying, this is a dish that as long as you keep stirring, you really can't go wrong. You know, we almost had an error in the beginning. We didn't have our can open. Have that can open, because once you're stirring them fried noodles like we were in the beginning, you want to be able to pour that El Pato sauce in and get water, pour your water in, you know, the 2.5 cans of water, and then stir it up. Once that happens and it comes to a boil, you're kind of out of that critical point. And we did good. We did good here. We just pulled it off for a second so we didn't burn them. Any of those noodles turn black, and it's going to taste funny. You only want them to brown. When you fry your noodles, just fry them, brown them, and good to go. Alright. We're pretty close to done, I think. What I got here? Try to just take that. Yeah. I just took a little bit. I'm going to try it, see how it tastes. Like with anything. Well, most things, I guess. Make sure it's alright. I think we're on the right track. It looks good. We're on track. That tastes great. Alright, we boiled a lot of that water out. We're looking good. Let's add these shrimps in. Dirty dishes. Okay, now the point in here is we're already using pre-cooked shrimp. I washed them, cleaned them up. So the only thing we want to do is keep these shrimp in there long enough to heat up, come up to temperature. So I'm just going to keep stirring it. There's not a lot of water in it. I'm tempted to add just a little bit, but I'm not going to, because all we're doing is heating up shrimp. The dish is basically done there. If you wanted to go with like a vegan dish, we were done right before I put the shrimp in. Enough of that water boiled off, we were good to go. With that said, I'm just going to shut this off, because there will be enough heat on that burner to keep heating this for a few minutes. Keep stirring, looks good. Bunch of chunks of shrimp. My shrimp I did cut in half, just because I don't like eating whole shrimp. I'd rather have, you know, a bite of a half a shrimp and some noodles in every few bites, instead of eating a whole shrimp. You can leave them whole if you want. This is just one of those really cool dishes that I can show you kind of a base way to make it right now, and it's a good dinner. And from there, you can modify this thing so bad, put so much stuff in it. You might say, hey, let's do shrimp. Let's put a lobster tail in there. We'll chop it up. You know, let's put a little bit of crab meat in there. And you'd have a whole seafood, you know, Fideo dish. Man, that'd be good. I'm going to have to try that one time. And I think all those little half shrimps are looking good and warmed up. gonna clean this little mess up. I got my napkin here. A couple of noodles we flung out earlier. The can is gone. Dishes are in the sink. And it's not bad because the dishes, I use 2 bowls and a cutting board. Now the bowls, if I wasn't videoing this for you, I wouldn't have used the bowls. I'd have just cut those up, left them on the cutting board, left everything on the cutting board pretty much. But I wanted to make it look nice, so we put it in bowls, had it ready to go. Looks awesome. Let's grab a plate, yum. Grab some of this and not spill it all over the place. Okay, you can see. That's what we got left. So this would definitely serve up. This would definitely serve up 2 people. If you made it as a side dish, you know, maybe if you went down in the summer and you got a couple of steaks, do the steaks on the grill, made this would probably serve as a side dish for probably 4 to 6. But here we go. Let's see. Let me see it good. Right there. Looks great. It'd probably be better if I just show it to you. Look at that. Sits on the plate. It's not like a soup or anything. We got good shrimp in there. You can see all them jalapenos in there. Yum. And it's got to be yum because even that guy wants some. Yeah, that's what he gets. Milk bones. Like I like to call them, crack for dogs. That's about what it is. Alright guys. Thank you for tuning in. We made a great dinner. I'm gonna go sit down and eat. I think it looks good. Thank you. Alright folks, we're back. Just got back from the store. I have a little problem. When I made the cooking video of the Fideo, I made that probably 2 weeks back. And when I made that, we didn't have the problems that we're having right now, where there's no noodles in the store. There's other problems, but so I make a noodle video and now there's no noodles. But I did find some, and I got lucky. And I don't know why there were so many bags of them. They're these little guys. They're Fideo Noodles, but they're just in a different bag. Which is weird because there's several manufacturers. You know, there's the one in the red, the blue one, and I don't know their names. I just know the colors of them. The red, the blue. I won't even think there's a green kind that is in there. And then the store I go has been carrying these. So I got lucky. There were probably about 10 bags of these still. I didn't take them all, only took a couple. And over in the tomato sauce section, there was still a bunch of cans of El Pato sauce. And I didn't take all those either. Just took a matching number bag for can, one bag, like in the cooking video. But just wanted to let you guys know, that's what makes this dinner maybe even a little bit better. So you can still go down, get you some vermicelli or Fideo noodles, and El Pato sauce might still be there. You might still have a bunch. But thank you.